Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, this is the Mundane Matt channel, and marriage, that's a fun thing, right? A lot of people do it, a lot of people end up being bad at it, but you know, some people out there think they've got the right idea when they want to kind of buck the system, buck the trend, and just marry themselves, which was a case recently that popped up where a woman held a self-marriage ceremony, and it made the rounds. I didn't cover it directly, but I just felt that it was stupid, except now we found out that she has in fact cheated on herself. Yep. It says here, woman who married herself cheated on herself. Can you really do that? Is that really a thing? I mean, self-marriage, of course, is merely a symbolic act. So cheating on yourself is just so stupid. But this, my friends, is the world we live in. Where this woman right here, look at her. That kind of, I don't really know what I'm doing with my life. I've got 2,800 cats. I might as well just marry myself. Is either trolling people or is just super narcissistic. But apparently she's also now an adulterer. So let's find out more, because why not? That's why we're here. It says here, for Sophie Tanner, the issue becomes slightly more complex. Oh, sorry. It says, for many of us, our worst fear is our other half cheating. But for Sophie Tanner, this issue becomes slightly more complex after she revealed that she had cheated on herself. Oh my God, the horror. Oh my God, the horror, the humanity. No, seriously, I know this is meant to be probably more satiristic, more tongue-in-cheek, but this is a real thing, folks. This is a real thing. This is maybe humanity was a mistake. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things out there that make us say that, but it's usually like the simplest one that just makes you go, ugh, why? Anyway, before you begin to question how that's even possible, you need to cast yourself back to 2015 when Tanner married herself. Yeah, right? That's probably why I didn't cover it recently. I thought it was recent. It was actually 2015. This popped up again recently, I should say. Saying here, it may have been a fairy tale wedding, but Tanner admitted on this morning that perhaps she and herself didn't have a perfect relationship. Obviously, probably because she's selfish, and her other half is also selfish, but just in a different way. Tanner cheated on herself with Ruari Bardet, a polyamorist who turned temporarily to monogamy while dating Sophie, in a relationship that lasted 5 months. All right, that's a lot to unpack in just one sentence, so let's look at this here. She cheated on herself with a guy named Ruari Barrett, whatever, a polyamorist who turned temporarily to monogamy while dating Sophie in a relationship that lasted 5 months. Okay, so her being a pluralist, is that the term? Plural, whatever, man. Singular doesn't even matter. Okay, so she's married to herself. So then she decides to cheat on herself with a man in a 5-month relationship, of which she had to hide from her other half, i.e., herself. Who this guy was a polyamorist who had turned monogamist. Okay, so polyamory is a better way of saying like polygamy. In America, people call it polygamy, but really the term is polyamory. So this dude likes to be with multiple people, and he turned to her in a monogamous relationship for 5 months. I think there's a lot just in that one sentence. Eventually, Barrett dedicated himself to the same cause, in this case, himself, and he had a self-marriage ceremony. So that... Oh, again, humanity, man. It's a mistake. So this guy okay, so this dude was a polyamorist, right? So had multiple partners, engaged in multiple partners. Then he met a woman, okay? And he was like, man, I really like you. I'm going to drop all the other partners. I'm going to go monogamous, 5-month relationship. And during that 5 months, he then decides that he wants to marry himself, and he only wants to be with himself. I don't think you get a tax break for marrying yourself. If that was the case, I'm pretty sure people in the military would just self-marriage each other just in order to get the bump in, in their pay. So I used to live in San Diego, and that was a big thing there. That still is a big thing in San Diego, where people out there, they get married. You'd be amazed how many lesbians in San Diego are married to people in the military. Anyway. So we hope this mess won't end in divorce. That would be a nightmare for Tanner, as both of the members of the relationship have an identical friendship group. Awkward. Okay, so you can see these people all kind of hang out together, and they're all pretty weird. You might argue that self-marriage is pointless, given everyone is forced to stick by themselves through the thick and thin till death do them part, but that's just what living is. Sorry, it's called sologamy. That's the term there. Sologamy is the act of self-marriage. It's more common than you think. But the self-marriage gurus say that their way of life promotes self-love and celebration of being single outside of restricted traditions and expectations. Look, there's another term for that, dudes. Okay, sologamy is one thing. Also, MGTOW. It's basically the same thing, just with a much nicer sounding terminology to it. Speaking to Amanda Holden, Tanner said, self-marriage is about self-love. It's saying that self-compassion and self-care is as important as romantic relationships. It doesn't mean you're rejecting all other meaningful relationships in your life and becoming a nun forevermore. It means you're rejecting bad relationships. Not entirely. If you cheat on yourself, then you yourself are in a bad relationship, and you are the perpetrator of that bad relationship. It also kind of means you're a horrible person, essentially, if you break it down to its core concept. I just love this. This whole thing of like, look, I'm just gonna marry myself. I'm just gonna be a sologamist. Okay, I'm just gonna watch The View and perpetually masturbate. That's it. That's all I'm doing. That's basically what they're saying here. It's funny. They're trying to play it off as like, oh no, it just means like you can be with other people. You're married, like the institution of marriage, that vow of partners. It further degrades the terminology of marriage, which I find to be interesting. If there was only more self-love in the world, we wouldn't need ceremonies like this. Oh no, there's a lot of self-love in the world. I just want to break it to you, to Sophie. Everyone masturbates. That's self-love. So it got me through my teenagers. This is a statement which looks to raise the profile of self-love, saying it's as important as romantic love and doing it as a formal ceremony as anyone else would have a wedding. No, people don't want to sit there and watch you self-love. I mean, there's videos on the internet for that. Don't get me wrong. There's entire websites dedicated to that, but still. Marrying yourself is a lifelong commitment to be responsible to your own happiness, so divorce is not an option. So she's like, you can't divorce yourself. So are you did you go to a Catholic church and get this ceremony performed? Is that what happened here? That's what I'm curious about. So at the end of the day, sologamy is something that is just, it's another, new wave self-help BS thing, right? You can't love other people unless you love yourself, so you should marry yourself in a ceremony to show the world that you love yourself. It's a very narcissistic, and it feels like a millennial thing to do. It really does. It feels super millennial. Like, oh, I'm just gonna like marry myself so then people know that I love myself. No, you love yourself in multiple ways, right? I joked about masturbation, but you love yourself in multiple ways. You take care of yourself. You go to the gym. You exercise. You eat right. You treat your body like it's something that needs to be regularly maintained. But when you go down this path of like, I'm just gonna marry myself, so then like I'm getting rid of all the other bad relationships, but then you end up cheating on yourself in a 5-month relationship with a polyamorist who then became a monogamist, who then decided to go into the whole self-marriage thing. It just defeats the entire purpose and makes you look like an idiot. And this whole thing is just another one of those self-help guru nonsense bullshit to sell books, right? I guarantee you they're already working on a book collective themselves. They're like, I could totally write about this. I've been married to myself for like 2 years now, and I've also cheated on myself, which means I need to go to couples counseling or just regular counseling and then find myself again and then write about it in a book. And that's probably what's going to happen. This whole thing to me feels like nothing more than a gigantic publicity stunt in order to sell a product down the road. You create a splash, a social media splash. Everyone checks it out. Everyone kind of goes, you're stupid. And then down the road, you do something stupid, which then kind of negates the stupidity of what you originally did because it's so absurd. Then you go and you get treatment, because that's the society we push now, is instead of getting treatment, when you start seeing a symptom, you wait for the whole thing to kick in, right? You wait for stage 4 liver cancer before you go and seek any kind of doctor's consultation. You hope to kick it. And when you do, you write a book about your journey of self-discovery and self-love, and it all started with sologamy or whatever nonsense it is. But this is probably the play here. It just feels like a way to sucker in insecure individuals who don't know how to actually love themselves, so they do it in a symbolic, ceremonial way that looks big and glamorous on the outside, but at the end of the day, they're still sitting at home in their underwear watching TV and feeding their 28,000 cats. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.